You should have heard some of the comments from these guys. Jeez. We finally got rid of them, you know. Okay. Man, this is an important week for us. Getting back home and getting our act together. We didn't do what we wanted to do last week, and so all phases are called on. You know, everybody's got to contribute. We need to put a good game together here, and so we worked real hard in that direction, trying to get ready to play smart and play right, and not give a bunch of stuff away, penalties in the ball and all that kind of stuff. So I'm looking for us to bounce and turn this thing back around and get rolling. And unfortunately, Atlanta is a good club, and they've been right there to win both games. And I know that they know they're on the verge because they are, and they've got talent and speed and all kinds of stuff and scheme, and they do a really nice job. So it's a big challenge for us. I hope we can play and connect with the 12s and do our thing like we know how to do, and like they know how to do it, and make it a big night for us. So a big afternoon for us.
How's Quandre doing?
He practiced today. He got through today. So he looked good. He looks good to play.
Something happened to him in the game or practice?
Yeah, his knee was sore after the game. That's all. Nothing that needed any attention other than just a little bit of rest.
Justin Coleman, what's his situation?
He's really getting close, but that's why he's still doubtful right now. It'd be hard for him to play this week.
Jen asked, I think, on Wednesday, how you felt like your team would respond, and you said let me take some time. Having had the week of practice, how do you feel?
Yeah, and then we looked very sharp, particularly as we finish up today and put the game plan all together and really try to execute the stuff we're counting on in the game, and there's no reservation. We're ready to go.
How did Damian Lewis kind of work through the week after the 5 games?
Shoot, he was uncomfortable over the weekend, coming out of the weekend, and we weren't sure, but he bounced right back. Yesterday he got some work in. Today he did all the stuff, and I don't think it's bothering him at all. I think he's ready to go.
What was it? Loss of life? Didn't practice, and then
yeah, his shoulder just got sore, and so we backed him off. He made it through today, and it looks like he's ready to go.
What are you looking for a second game out of Ken Walker and trying to get him going?
Just get him going, just like that. Just get him reps and just let him get in the flow of the game, I hope. It's not obvious that he gets all of the plays because Rashad is the guy that we're trying to get the ball to, and we're leading with him. But I would really like to see Kenneth get a chance to get the feel and get some rhythm and just show who he is. We're really excited to see it because he looks like he's got a lot for us.
You guys blocking it up? For 2 games, blocking up the run game, has it been with better, more tempo?
Yeah, we've been pretty well connected. We did have a couple mistakes in this game that we haven't had through preseason, which are really not characteristic for us, and so we need to bounce back and show that we're on track again, communication-wise, and make sure that we see things. And when we check and we change the play, we missed a couple with the young guys, and so. That shouldn't be a problem. It just hasn't been, and it showed up. It just was a number of areas where things were a little bit off, and it added to it built up to a bad game for us.
How does Shelby's absence impact the
It does. It does. He's played good football. In the Denver game, he played really well. We didn't get to see him to speak of in the Niner game, but he's got an injury, but he also has a family thing that he's got to attend to, so he won't make it back.
Miles Adams made an impression for you in the preseason, the end of last year. If he's up in place of Shelby this weekend, what can he help you guys with?
Yeah, I'm really anxious to see him because he was really active and he played the run well, and he was in the backfield, and he just was flashy. So he brings us a little different style play. His quickness would be a nice addition here, and I'm hoping it'll show up and be a factor for us. This offensive line is a very quick offensive line. They move real well, and in that regard, Miles does help us, and we'll match up, and he'll definitely play in the game.
Do you have an idea of how long Shelby's going to be out for?
No.
For Kobe, if he's playing a different role against, how valuable are these games?
Oh, man. There's so much that happens. There's so much to learn. It's that spot. conceptually with what we're doing, conceptually with what they're doing, and then just settling in. Fortunately, he's a really good football player, and he can kind of get through situations pretty well and make good decisions. But yet, he needs all of the reps, and so he's still growing at it.
You mentioned off the top being right, getting right again. Have you seen that at all? You think this year, even the Denver game, getting right, just playing your type of game, and being complete?
You talking about in general?
Yes.
Well, we haven't played enough. I got 2 games. The stuff in the preseason is not counting. We have 1 game when we really liked the way we executed and played and got a lot of good stuff done with room for improvement. This next game, we didn't accomplish much anything.
You came in and commented, what Bobby told him was teams don't really show what they are until I think he said 8 weeks. Did you have in your mind always a benchmark in the season where okay, this is where we usually know who we are?
Well, if you think about, how many times you guys have asked me about pass rush or how's the secondary doing? Give me a few more weeks. It takes some time. And there's adaptations being done on the players' part to learn exactly what we're counting on them to do, and there's the coaches are doing the same thing, and so we work to figure it out and it's not always exactly what you think it's going to be, and so we have to be ready to adjust, which is what's going on, and we're finding it. And particularly with when you have new guys, we're uncovering who they are on a regular, procession here, and hopefully we'll nail it. And you're still in the middle of it all when you start playing your best football. It's interesting that in our division that everybody's the same right now, and everybody's had a week that they hated and a week that they liked, and so so. Now we'll start separating some way, and so this game is really important for us.
When you're looking for that separation, game 3, what are you looking for from the leaders? Because Jordan Brooks talked to us, and he said he talked to the young guys. Just how much now do you rely on your leadership to convey that message?
What we're seeking is consistency, where we can count on the guys to know that they know their stuff and be there play after play after play. So we play certain plays well, and then we don't have to face those plays again. If you're not consistent with how you execute, then you're wide open. You don't know where the other team can go. You give them a lot of latitude in how they can attack you. We need to know what direction we're forcing them in by the successes that we have. So it's really consistency is what we're looking for, and we're trying to get guys to understand the scheme and count on it and be able to repeat success. And so. Just in the big picture, the big general of it, week 1 was this way and week 2 was that way, and so we haven't made that step yet. So obviously right now we're trying to get that captured and really get our play cleaned up and where we can count on it.
Does communication play a role in that consistency?
It's a very important part of it. When you communicate well, when you know what you're doing. When you're sure of yourself and you know exactly what's asked of you and you've done it before, you're way more apt to communicate openly. When you're unsure, you're not quite, you don't have the full commitment behind it all. It's harder to be direct and forceful with your language and all. So that will improve tremendously. Jordan Brooks has worked so hard at it. He takes so much pride in being that voice in the middle of us all, but he continues to grow too, and he learns who he's talking to. How you say things to a certain person is based on who they are and what they hear and how they hear it, and that's playing together and getting that figured out. There's still some growth here, so we're gonna get quite a bit better.
What was the coaching point for Abe Lucas on that lineman downfield call?
Yeah, did I tell you that what I learned in pregame from the officials? Yeah. Yeah, I asked the guys always, is there anything new this week, anything that they told you from the league office? And they said, oh yeah, by the way, we're going to be stricter about guys getting downfield. And if they sent me something during the week, I didn't see it, and I didn't see that come out. And so that's the first time I heard it. So I thought, how am I going to get that point across? Here we are. It was 15 minutes before we're on the field playing. So. I wasn't able to get the word out, obviously full enough, but it happened a bunch of I think there's that they're in the 20s or something already, and guys downfield in the first 2 games, and that's like 3 times as much as normal. So it is a point of emphasis. So now we're on it, and just unfortunately, I wouldn't even, if I didn't ask the question, I wouldn't even have known. So that's no excuse at all. I wish I would have. Known that, but so anyway, it happened for a couple times. So it's just they have to be aware. It's just awareness. On Abe's play, he knocked the guy off the football and he's blocked him down, which used to be kind of okay, and they would give you latitude there. That was strictly called, and so the officials did exactly what they were told to do, and so we just didn't adapt fast enough.
They called the He kind of wandered a couple steps upfield.
Yeah, he can. He thought he was okay because he had followed through on the block and all. But so we've been adamant about that.
Was that a point of emphasis after week 1 or going into the season? Did they change on the block?
The way I heard it, they were informed last week. That's what it sounded like when we were talking. So I was glad it came up, and we'll get it from now on. We'll be okay.
Did they tell you why it's suddenly important?
No, we didn't talk about the why. But what it does relate to is the RPO game. Where you have runs called that can be passes. There's ways to block those where you can be more protective for the guys downfield. I'm not going into that, but it's just the follow through of a running play that winds up being thrown late, and then the guys, they have no. It's really hard. So there's a lot of coaching going on right there around the league, I would think, on how people are emphasizing it. It doesn't mean you can't do RPOs. You just can't follow through downfield the same way we have been.
When did you learn that was a good practice to ask officials, hey, by the way, they're in the new?
No, I've been doing it forever.
Way back, even before
Yeah, as long as I can remember.
How did you see Geno kind of work through the week? And I know you said you wanted to kind of take the reins off a little bit on the offense, and how you see him prep to do that.
What I'm really saying there is that my confidence in him has just grown he had a fantastic week again, and you guys watch a little bit. You don't get to see all of it, but he's just on his game, and he's so that's it. I mean, nothing's really going to change drastically, but it's just he has proven that he's ready, and he's the preparation of the preseason and the off season and all of that has folded into where now he's really ready to go. And so, whenever the opportunities come, to count on him to do stuff, there's no hesitation.
You guys had a really elite defense, and teams started to copy that around the league. Why do you think successfully did you guys over the multiple years when they were in theory running a simple?
That's a really good question, Michael. That's a good question. Not that it's a hard answer. It's just a good question. Because a lot of people did, and our coordinators went to, the places and stuff like that and spread the word around. And unfortunately, they talked to the offenses around the league too. Things, and it just got overexposed a little bit. I think it's really, I would totally put it back on the guys that were doing the plan. I think that we were able to piece together a bunch of guys that really had something special about them. That the less we did, the better they played. I mean, and when we played in the Super Bowl game, that was one of the simplest game plans we ever played. And we were simple anyway, but it wasn't simple because they weren't smart. It was simple because that's what they needed to really express their awareness and their commitment and their speed and their confidence. And that was a group that had really grown in that regard. And when you get to that point, it's like we're talking about communicating. When guys know everything that can be done to them, man, they don't even have to say it sometimes. Guys just see stuff and they know, and we've been through this so many times. Okay, here it is again. It's this concept or principle. And when you're at that kind of level of communication and awareness, it's just you play so much faster. I think I've said this to you before. Coach Walsh said it takes 5 years for guys to come together to have enough experiences together where they can really cash in on and have a reservoir of common experiences and all. And that's a long haul in this day and age. Guys don't last that long. Coaches don't last that long. It's hard to get that behind you, but we did. We had 6 years or whatever it was of just extraordinary play, and we needed all of the games and the experiences early on to get there. And I don't think it took us 5 years to get it done. And I'm not saying Coach was wrong on that, but I think that's a conservative number. But it takes a while, and I mentioned newness. There's a newness about us still, and we have to get through that. And so we're after it now. I mean, guys, the players know, coaches know, and it's not about how well you teach; it's how well they learn. And so we can give a great presentation, great overheads, and all that kind of stuff, but it doesn't matter unless the players get it and grasp it and own it, and that's what we're trying to get them to. And when we're there, it'll be clear, and everybody's facing the same thing. Everybody's up against the same stuff. So
when you talked to Jody Allen after last season, is that part of what you were discussing? How it takes years to build on, and your system has to start back up?
No, I didn't talk like that, because that would sound like I was trying to talk her into something. She's not like that. She wants to know exactly what's going on. There's no stories to tell you. You go straight to the truth and the reality of it, and that's what she expects, and that's how we're dealing. And so, no, it wasn't like that.
As long as you've been coached, whether the head coach, position coach, or a coordinator, were you ever part of a staff where they did try to emulate whatever was hot around the league or around the nation in college and it didn't work?
I haven't been on. That's way back when the Miami Hurricanes were really good. Dang, what's Snellenberger? No, not Snellenberger. No, the other guy. No. Before him. Snellenberger. Yeah, Howard. Yeah. Our head coach walked into the UOP office one day with the Miami defensive notebook, and he said, "Okay, put it in. That's the defense we're playing." It was when they were winning world championship or national championships. I mean, it was like that was exactly what you're talking about. So I have been there, but also, Monty Kiffin said in his lead philosophy sheet, I'm talking years ago, back at Arkansas when the first time I was with him, if you change your philosophy from year to year, then you don't have one, and that's never left me, and that's the truth. So I've been around it, but always fought against the thought of that. But that doesn't mean that you don't adapt. We're always, because that's how you compete. You compete by trying to get better. And that approach to everything does play into how we do scheme wise and stuff as well.
You talked about that newness to Mike a second ago. How exciting is that when you see maybe flashes here during the game? How exciting can that be for what they
That's why I've been so encouraged the whole time with this group. We're going to get there, and they care too much, and they're too smart. And they care for one another, so that means they feel responsible, and so we're going to get there. And you just don't want to wait very long. It's got to go.
Anything else? Thank you.
Right.